March 10th, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. Quite a bit of volume today. Looks kind of like an M shape almost, like push up, push back down. It was a spike in the pre-market, push up and back down. Overall, it looked like it was trying to stay in this big range. A lot different than yesterday, where it was this gigantic rally. Similar to yesterday, I took two trades. I unfortunately lost on the first one again, and then I won on the second one. The first one I actually thought was a decent setup, and I actually, if this setup, not the outcome, but the setup occurred again, it's a trade that I would probably take. So let's go into the trades right now. There was no economic data that came out to really move the markets. I'm going to try to go through this rather quickly. I know my videos are usually run long, and I just kind of talk about everything. So I'm going to try to just keep it to the actual trade setup. Pre-market, there was two legs down, one push. Well, it was actually one push back up, break of the green up channel, test the high, back down to the low. Looked like they might have been trying to stay in a range here, but it breaks out on this green up channel, break, test the high, then moves down on this shallow yellow down channel, break, and the second leg down on this orange down channel, spike sideways, and then the shallow channel up. On the open, kind of continues, and there's no real clean second entries here, and there's also no real clean second entries long or short. I mean, there are second entries everywhere, but not necessarily good setups, because they'll either have a bad signal bar, or it's far from the EMA, or just key entry points don't set up. So I'm going to try to skip those. Break of the orange down channel, pushes to the low, starts moving sideways, makes a second leg down, then reverses up. There could have possibly been a second entry short here, but I didn't like the signal bar. And then the follow through, there was no subsequent lower high. It kind of forms here, and that's where I established this purple down channel. Purple down channel has like highs to lows, sideways consolidation, touches the highs arguably 2 to 3 times, then goes back to the low, break, tries to make one move down. It looks like it goes two legs up, and I thought this is actually a possible trade. From the lows of the purple down channel, you have a first entry short, pull back, second entry short, it's a decent signal bar. Well, actually, the signal bar is this guy. It's not the best, but the trigger bar is nice because it ticks one tick above, strongly engulfs this poor signal bar, and closes at the low. But seeing like something like this, a fail breakout combination, I thought this could have been a possible trade. I was looking for a lower high, ideally on this candle. Like it would, if this one didn't form like that, it would just kind of spike up above this guy and then flush down. So this guy'd have to be a little bit smaller. Pushes down, and this is actually where it sets up my first trade, what I thought was, in my opinion at the time, was a decent setup. I'm playing off this purple down channel. It looks like it's starting to range. Oh, didn't mean to do that. It looks like it's starting to range. Go ahead and zoom in. This is localized low. It's one push, so it's 1, 2, 3 attempts down, but each 3 times it kind of reverses back up, and it created 3 pushes to the high side. So in real time, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the EMA is coming down as a bearish bias. There's a rejection off this purple down channel. I mean, it's an almost touch, but in combination with this first entry short, pullback, second entry short, but I actually grouped this as localized low, and I said first entry, second entry, and I saw this as a lower high triple test. Each time it failed to break. This is a really nice signal bar. I entered this trade after the confirmation here. Now, it wouldn't have mattered if I entered on this one or on this one, but as you can see, I entered right here, and I failed to get my 6-tick scalp, and it reverses and stops me out, which is my stop above these triple tests. And in hindsight, I think this is a rather decent setup because it is ranging. So the things going forward is the top of the range. I'm expecting it to move to the bottom of the range. EMA is acting as resistance. It's rejecting off this purple down channel that I have. There's a failed breakout here, so I'm expecting it to test the low. You could argue it tested the low here. It looked like it was trying to push back down. So unfortunately, I lost. Pushes up on this green up channel, break, test the high, and it starts moving what I think is a shallow yellow up channel. So it's like a spike and a shallow channel up. No clean second entries in here. Continues up, and it's unfortunate because this is a really big gradual move up. Break. Looks like it's moving down this orange down channel. As I mentioned before, There is a lot of second entries, but not necessarily good ones. So I don't gotta kind of skip through those. Now it hits the highs here and it comes back down. It looks like it's truly in this gigantic range, which is about 70 points. Go ahead and move this down, widen this up. Right? It's this triple bottom here. Well, actually, more of a double bottom here. Reverses up, pushes back down, hits the sideways consolidation. Looks like it was 2 legs down. Now, at the time I was playing, this is ultimately where my range ended up. But I had other various support lines here, thinking like this could be a small breakout. The bottom of the range could be here. The first entry short, technically you have a second entry short here and a failed breakout. It is the high of this pre-market high, and it's a failed breakout. I'm actually was concerned that I might hit this as support if it was going to reverse back up. So I was looking for a lower high. You get a lower high here, but it's a doji, so I didn't really like it. It pushes and actually sets up for my second trade. So clearly prices are hitting the top of this. After the break of this yellow up channel, it made one attempt down, pull back, second attempt down, and then it does break and test the high of this yellow up channel. So I'm thinking this range, whether it's valid, this big gray one, it looks like it's stalling a little bit. On top of that, I was playing another range, which is this blue one. And here it's a fail breakout of both the bigger pre-market range, that big one, and this blue one. So it did try to break out once. So it's a visual first entry long. Technically a first entry pullback, second entry, but I saw it as a visual first entry pullback, a visual second entry. I thought this was a visual second entry long potential failure because this one is failing to get back higher than the previous now, or even test the top of the range, 2 overlapping ranges. A decent signal bar, and it also gives you a second entry short, localized low. First entry short, pullback, second entry short. So when I saw this one, I liked it. It opened, I waited for it to break below this guy, waited for the tick count to crawl down from 2000 to be something lower to see where, if this is going to eventually like close at the high. But as it was about to close, right before it closed, I entered, it fills my order and pulls back a little bit. But then on the very next candle, it flushes down and gives me my 6 ticks. If I was trading a runner, this looked like it would have been a pretty decent runner. I would have very likely kept it 1 tick above each previous and likely gotten stopped out on this candle, but that's neither here nor there since I didn't trade a runner. Pushes down, starts reversing up, break, test the high. There's a second entry short here. I called it an almost trade because it looked like it made a measured move. First entry short, second entry short, but in real time, when you only see this candle, with my expectation that it might push back to the high side, makes it a little bit difficult to try to take this trade. In order for me to believe it's reversing back to bearish, I want a lower high, but it could create a lower high and then kind of continue back up, or it could fail on this second entry short because it just came previously from this really large 20, 30 tick candle. So I'm just kind of extra cautious. It never really figures itself out and it kind of continues back, top sideways, bounces off the low side of this area. So that's where I kind of established that this is the actual blue trading range. I'm expecting a potential fail breakout on this side to match this side. It starts pushing up. At this point, it does break to the high side, but it dwelled for quite a while on the bias on the high side. So I thought it might have been trading up this purple up channel. Fits the high side pretty well. Low side has 2 confirmations. I'm just sitting and watching now. No clean second entries I particularly like. Maybe the closest one would have been this one, except this one's a doji. There was another one right here, but again, it was a doji. It is bouncing off the EMA, and it's kind of in this area of what I can't quite reconcile. I mean, it's pressing against the highs of both this blue range and the pre-market range that I established. It's a doji, which doesn't help. It is bouncing off the EMA, so it just kind of made me unsure what was really going to happen. So this is kind of a sketchy, be extra cautious area. Pushes to the high side. Break has a fail breakout here. So now I'm thinking if it's truly in this this purple range, it could create a bounce point down here or a fail breakout here. So I'm watching this carefully. you technically only have the first entry long, and then it doesn't really even, it kind of solves the problem for me by not giving me a second entry long till way down here. And this is just kind of out in the middle with nowhere. You do potentially get a higher low, but again, it's below the EMA. I might be back into my gray trading range, and it's also inside the blue range. But the blue range, I'm not as thinking it's in play as much as the big gray one because it's dwelled so far outside here after this break here. So I'm not necessarily sure this support is going to be very valid now. I'm just thinking more likely prices are moving back into this big gray range. The break of this green down channel, expecting to test the low. First entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, but it's an inside bar. I can't take this. The follow through bar is also inside, so I'm just sitting on my hands at this point. And it reverses back up. It's the sideways consolidation. You technically have a first entry long here, but again, it's inside bar. Push break on this orange down channel, break test the low, reverses back up, first entry short, second entry short. This is an almost setup. I wish it was a little bit better of a signal bar because it is a break of the green up channel, test the high, but the red down, this orange down channel is broken and test the low. So it leaves it a little bit in the iffy zone. So I was looking for a lower high. By the time you get a lower high, it's right here and it's already too close to the lows. Then I chop sideways. Looks like it was moving down this yellow down channel. We really only get first entries. You technically have maybe a second entry here, but it's just not the best signal bar. I'm not really sure because you could start from here. First entry long pullback, second entry long, count reset. First entry long pullback, second entry long. So I'm not really sure where it's at. Then it presses up on this green up channel, break, test the high. Looks like it was two legs up, and it's also two legs down. Unfortunately, a second entry long doesn't set up nicely here because this would have been perfect, but it leaves it a little ambiguous with this red candle. Pushes up, flushes back down. Go ahead and shrink this a bit. Oh, I just want to say that as I was looking to the left, clearly it's back in this range. It looked like it was two legs down, but it's starting kind of a third choppy sideways leg. So I'm not 100% sure what direction this is going to move at. Is it going to reverse back up or is it going to actually proceed down to the low side? Or it could just do its own little consolidation thing right here, which it kind of looked like it did by the time I established this yellow down channel. Localized high, technically a first entry long, second entry long here, no clear second entry key entry point. This yellow down channel doesn't exist yet. Kind of hits the sideways movement, presses to the high. At this point, I do establish this trend line coming down, but I'm not 100% sure this is the proper channel because it does seem really large compared to how many candles are printed. So I need a few more candles to print to trust that this range is actually in play. So it pushes down, then it hits the sideways area. This is just congestion. So I have it's hard to see, but I had a smaller range in here, but it didn't really set up for anything particularly nice, in my opinion. I also established that maybe there is a range here. A fail breakout here, but it breaks to here. I'm not necessarily thinking price is going to come back up, test the high, because I also had this yellow down channel in play now. Breaks and test the low. This yellow channel fits, for the most part, pretty well. There's these violations, these excursions out here, but the low side fits pretty well. So I decided that this yellow down channel is probably the one in play. But as it gets toward the end of the day, there is maybe a second entry short here, but I didn't like that there's an inside bar because it's a clean first entry short pullback, second entry short break of this orange up channel, tested the high, which is nice, but the signal bar isn't really good. You could argue that it is getting rejected off this yellow down channel, or at least it's a fail breakout coming through. But what throws a wrench in it is there's these two previous breakouts here, so it leaves me a little unsure. Pushes down, you could say there's maybe a lower high here, but it's not a good signal bar. And that kind of pushes down and into the close. So again, right in the last 10 minutes, I'm not trading that. So whatever price action is doing, no matter how attractive it is, I'm not going to be getting involved in anything like that. So another semi high volume day. I really only marked 3 trades. 2 I took and 1 what I thought was a possible setup right over here. There are maybe some other trades in here if you're a little more aggressive, but I just kind of skip over those now because I don't want to I'm trying to avoid taking iffy trades and then getting too involved and getting wrapped up in my mind playing I should have done this, I should have done that. Currently, I'm just kind of approaching it as it has to really stand out for me to mark it as a trade and or take the trade. So hopefully that was helpful.